What's up, coach? If you need help finding your personal training clients, high paying, both online or in person, using Instagram in 2020, this video is for you. Stay tuned. What's up, coach? I'm Beverly Simpson. I'm the owner of BSimpsonFitness and the founder of the PT Profit Podcast. In this video, we're going to talk about how to use Instagram in 2020 specifically to find, attract, connect, and get your personal training clients either online or in person. So if you like this video, go ahead, hit like, tap subscribe, and tap that bell to be notified when the next latest and greatest video comes out for you. Now, there are two things that you are going to need before diving into this video. So, number one, make sure that you know who your ideal client is. Now, if you don't know who your ideal client is, that's cool. Go ahead and tap this video in order to get some training on how to determine who your ideal client is and who you serve. Now, the second thing that you're going to need is your transformation, your product, your service for your ideal client. Now, if you need training on that, go ahead and tap this video. And you can learn more about how to determine and come up with your irresistible offer, specifically if you're looking for high paying personal training clients. All right, let's dive in. Okay, we're here at the computer and we're gonna dive in. But before, I just wanna reiterate that there are no quick fixes. Now, most people, they're looking for the fastest way, the most efficient way. They're looking for the shortcuts. And the truth of the matter is that most people don't want to do the work. But you're here, so this means that you are not afraid of hard work, and it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. So this video is gonna dive into some strategies and things that you can incorporate into your Instagram usage. However, it is not a substitute for quick fixes. And my friends, there are lots of people out there that are gonna try and sell you on the quickest, latest, greatest. But the truth of the matter is that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Think about it. When you're working with your clients and they tell you that they want to lose 50 pounds in 3 days, and they just need to take this diet pill, or they need to do this detox, or whatever it is, this sweet tea that they just drink it and they'll be able to lose the fat. You and I both know that that is not sustainable. It's not gonna last. And when it comes to your business building, the same is true. So let's dive into the missing ingredients that you might have inside of your Instagram account so that you can find your ideal clients, can attract, connect, and convert them using Instagram. So let's dive in. One of the first things that we want to do when we are setting up and optimizing our Instagram to find ideal clients is we want to master the bio and the 5-second impression. So I need to know within 5 seconds of coming to your profile who it is that you serve, what do you help them do without what frustration. So that's why it was very important that I want you to come to this training knowing who your ideal client is, and bonus points, what is their number one goal and what is preventing them from achieving that goal. And if you can speak to that in your bio in a very concise way, awesome. That's what we're looking for, because I need to know within 5 seconds if you are for me. Your ideal client is coming to your feed and asking themselves, what's in it for me? And so there are
a couple of places inside of here. So let's dive into the bio that we can optimize and really think through when we're setting up our account. So 2 things to consider when people are searching, what is going to come up in the search is your handle name, and it's also going to be your name. So if you've got your business is, your full name and that's your handle, awesome. That means that you can use the name field very powerfully. So let me give you an example. This is one of my colleagues. Her name is Kayla Craft, right? So when I'm looking up her name, her handle is Kayla.craft, which comes up, and then her name field is Mommy Millionaire Coach. Right there, I know exactly what it is that she does and who she serves. So the same is true for you and your profile. You can do the same thing. So for me, I've got BSimpsonFitness. My name's not in there, but this is the name of my brand. But in here, I have my name, just my first name, because it's not here. And I have messaging and sales. That's exactly what I do. So when you search for me, you're going to know within 5 seconds what it is that I do. And then later on, I have my I help statement. I'm telling you who it is that I serve, help them do what without the frustration. And now something to remember is that your brain, there are brain triggers. The brain needs to grab attention. It's also looking for what is new, what is unique, what is revolutionary, and it's looking for authority. So ways that you can demonstrate authority in a way that speaks to your client. So most clinicians, most strength and conditioning client coaches, they fall into a common trap of wanting to list out all their certifications. And I get it. Certifications are important, but you really have to ask yourself, are the certifications important to your ideal client? Because if they're not, then there is a place for them, but not here inside of the bio, because we're going for that 5-second impression. And so the next thing that you want to do in your bio that is very powerful is a call to action to that link in the bio. Now, people will ask me, how many links should I use Linktree? Now, remember that a confused mind doesn't buy. So too many options in the profile, that is not ideal. So if you're going to use Linktree, no more than 3 options. If you've got the swipe up feature, awesome. You just need to have 1 link in there and you can interchange it depending. So for me, what I have in this bio is free class. So I'm telling you that it's a free training, and I'm telling you content that connects and converts. So I'm giving you a promise, a benefit of what's going to happen when you click that link. And I'm also giving you that call to action to click the link. You want to tell people what to do. Don't assume that it is common sense, because you will find that what seems like common sense isn't so common. So give them the call to action, incentivize them, tell them, and answer the question, what's in it for me? Now, you want that link in bio to not necessarily be your website. You want that link in bio to be a reason to pull them into your email list. Now, if you don't have an email list, cool. There's another training around this video about building your email list and the importance of it. But just remember that Instagram is an awesome place. It's a cocktail party and it is borrowed space. So when you pull them off of Instagram, they come into your space, and that link in bio is the only hot link for you to be able to do that. So you want to give them a reason to serve them and to come into your email list. So that is what I want you to set up in your bio specifically. But in addition to that, your highlights is a very powerful place. And here are the highlights that I want you to have on your Instagram profile, because remember, we're answering what's in it for me. So I have a mini training. So anytime I do any type of additional teaching, I'm going to put it in mini training. In here, I have an opportunity for you to work with me, ways that you can work with me. And this is also very important, is your client results. We need to demonstrate authority, because it's not enough that we say we can do what we say we do. We need to demonstrate and show that we can do it, whether it is your current clients, past clients, your story. Well, there's a spot for that. However, we want to make sure that we are demonstrating our claims in a powerful way, and having the client results is going to be very important on your Instagram profile, because nothing demonstrates authority than better than social proof. The next thing that you can have is ways that you can, your free organic content. For me, it's podcast and YouTube. And then we want to have your story about me. Now, remember, people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And so you want to weave your story into your content, but not just any story. Now, when I was serving moms, I had a very powerful story about how I lost 50 pounds without dieting, and how I talked about the importance of loving yourself and transformation from the inside out, because it wasn't until I gave birth to my children that I discovered I had so many body image issues, and I wasn't able to lose and keep off the weight that I wanted until I had started to transform inside. That's all true, and it's part of my story, but it's no longer in this highlight. Why? Because it doesn't pertain to you. Now, you hanging out with me know me and love me, which is awesome. However, you don't care about my weight loss journey. You care about my story and how I came here to serve personal trainers and help them become a better personal trainer and a better clinician, and how to use sales without selling, and use the messaging inside of their content. That pertains to you, and that's what we're going to be putting inside of the story. Because when you are thinking about your customer journey, remember, people have to go through a journey, and your content that you're putting out is going to put your client as the hero, which is a concept that comes from Donald Miller's storybook brand. However, it's very important that when you are telling your story, it is coming from a place of serving your ideal client. And that's what goes here in the highlight, which is a perfect segue into step number 2. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's important to say it, and you might feel the urge to just click off and dismiss it, like, oh, I know that. But it's really important that we create compelling content. And when I say that, what I really mean is that we need to operate and think like our ideal client, and ask ourselves, what is it that our ideal client needs to hear? And now there are specific types of content, which is separate training. I'll leave that link around this video for you to check out. But there are specific types of content that you can create that is specifically designed to stop the scroll, give immense value, and then create demand for the next step, whether it's a call to action to engage, whether it's a call to action to go to the link in the bio to watch the story, to whatever it is designed to do. Now, there are 3 places on Instagram specifically that we want, or 4 places in Instagram specifically that we want to use on our Instagram profile. So first, you have the feed. Now, if you are looking to grow, you want to post once a day. Now, some people will say 1 to 3 times a day, but really you want to look at your insights and take a look and evaluate how well your posts are doing from an insider's perspective on a weekly basis. And if you notice, when you when you post multiple times that the reach is going down, that's because every time you insert a new post, you are resetting the algorithm. So give your post some time to season. But again, marketing is all about guessing, testing, and assessing. So you'll need to go and evaluate your statistics to determine whether or not that is going to work for you. So the first is the feed. The second place is your story. Now, stories are very powerful. They give you the opportunity to show behind the scenes. They are where you get to connect with your people. And I'll give you some insights and some strategies specifically on how to use it. But then the third place is IGTV. IGTV is another awesome place where your content can just sit and season. This is for your longer form content. You can do your lives here and then put your lives inside of your IGTV. So excuse me, I said 4 early, but it's really five places that you can really use and put your compelling content. And because that leads me to the 5th place, which is that leads me to the 4th place, which leads me to your lives. Here is where you're an opportunity to go live. Now, here's the fun fact about going live. When you go live and then you invite somebody to go live with you, you are going to send a message to all of your active followers and all of their active followers, and you're going to notify them that you're live, which is cool. It's exciting. People will want to, and if you do it consistently, you will teach people that you show up consistently and they will start to come. You will start to build a sense of momentum. Okay. The 5th and final place is the Reels. Now, here's something that's really important about Instagram specifically is that when Instagram introduces something new, they are going to reward the people. They are going to reward the people that are using the new content. So it is important to use the new content. So when I'm saying reward is that they are going to push out your reels because it's new to the platform to everyone because they're wanting to incentivize and get people excited about using the reels. So it's a great opportunity to get your powerful, compelling content in front of your ideal client. And so the other thing that you want to consider so here's how you set up your pieces of content. Now, it's a separate training how to use each individual 5 pieces of content, but I'll just briefly go over it here quickly. But the simple framework that you want to be thinking, which is a principle that transcends depending on what type of content that you're going to be using, is that you want to have a hook. So it stops the scroll, massive value, and then your call to action. And so that is true whether you're doing your one piece of feed content or if you're doing a live or you're doing a story. Now, your stories are going to be anywhere from 4 to 8 slides. And you want that journey to be happening inside of your story as well. And so now you've got your awesome pieces of content. Now we can start layering on the Instagram specific strategies. So step number 3 to finding your client is to use your hashtags. Now, hashtags is this way that Instagram is searching hashtags is how you can be found on Instagram. Now, I get it. You've probably heard that before, but I want you to get really specific when you're thinking about your hashtags. And what I mean by that is there's 2 ways to use hashtags, and I'll get into the second way. But for now, for this step, for your compelling content, whether you're putting them in your story, because you can use 5 to 10, Whether you're putting them in your lives because you're going to pull the live off and use the hash and put it on IGTV and still use your hashtags, or put them in your feed. That is how you're going to be discovered. So it's important that you use the hashtags that your ideal client is searching. So a lot of strength and conditioning coaches, if they're doing a fitness post specifically on building strength, that maybe are building muscle, they'll use the hashtag hypertrophy. But I really want you to think about it. Is your ideal client searching the word hypertrophy? So now if you keep hearing and finding that your colleagues are finding your content, which is what I hear often, then chances are we're not using hashtags to really find and connect with our ideal client. And so how do we do that? Well, have a conversation with your ideal client. Let's look up some hashtags. So something that my moms would always be looking for is they would look up weight loss for moms. This is something that they are looking at. Now, something that I really also want you to know, especially if you're in the beginning, okay, of your Instagram growth, is that I don't want any hashtags above 1 million, especially if you are under that 10K threshold. No 1 million hashtags, because what's going to happen is that your post is not going to be found. So I really want you to think 1,000 to 500,000. That's where the meat of your hashtags are going to be. So if you so for example, you don't want to use FitFam, because if you use FitFam, you'll see there's 114 million posts. The chances of you being discovered from FitFam, that is less likely than if you did FitFam New York. Let's try that. Let's get really specific. Fewer than 100 posts. So maybe, and the reason why I'm saying maybe is, let's look at it. Okay, so actually I might use this, because sometimes fewer than 100, you'll notice it's only a couple people. Okay. Now, yeah, this specificity is awesome, but then you have to think and remember, are people searching that hashtag? Maybe, maybe not. So a lot of times people will say personal trainer, but if you look at personal trainers, that's a pretty big hashtag, because there's 33.7 million posts, right? So the chances of getting featured and being found are less likely than if you did hashtags that are closer to that 1K to 500K. That's kind of a sweet spot. Then you can have some big dogs like this one of 500 to 900K, especially if you are in that lower 10K threshold. Now, if you are higher, you can start experimenting with bigger hashtags. And also always make sure you're going back and looking at your insights. How many people are finding you through hashtags? The other thing is that you want to change up your hashtags. How many can you use? You can use 30. But what I do is I create a note inside of my iPhone. In my notes, I will keep 5 sets of at least 5 sets of hashtags that are in the 20 amount range, and I will use them interchangeably. I will always have my specific hashtags will be first for things that I'm known for, and then I will change up my hashtags. And I always leave a range. I'll leave about 5 to 10 spots left so that I can create a hashtag or use hashtags that are specific to what my content is about. So for example, if I go over here to this where I interviewed one of my friends, we were talking about rowing. In my hashtags, I used a rowing specific hashtag, but I'm not going to necessarily do that for all my posts. So I don't just copy and paste. I'm very intentional because Instagram doesn't want any type of automation. They want you to be present on the platform. And remember, this is a cocktail party. So I always put my hashtags in the first comment because I want to reserve the space for my actual content that I'm going to put inside my post, because it doesn't matter where you put your hashtags. And so how do I know if my hashtags are working? Well, I'm going to go and take a look at my insights, and I'm going to see how many people found from my hashtags. And I'm going to compare it to my other pieces of content. And I'm going to see, okay, well, how is the hashtags doing? So if my hashtags are normally in the 100 to 500 range, if I'm going to see that it's 43, then that's probably too specific, or the hashtags are not as awesome as I wanted the hashtags to be. So I will change it up, but I'm always evaluating and looking at the numbers and seeing where people are coming from and how they found it. That's how I determine whether or not my hashtags are working. Now, unfortunately, Instagram's not going to tell you which hashtags. So I just spend a little bit of time really thinking about it. And also remember, when you go to and when I say thinking about it, I'm talking about thinking about it in terms of my ideal client. Where is it and what is it that they are searching for? And also, just to remember, side note before I go into number 4, is that when you start putting it in, Instagram's going to tell you, oh, look what other people are searching. And so they're going to give you a ton of ideas in terms of specificity. Okay. And so this is going to lead me to step number 4, because people will say, how do I find my ideal client? How do I know what they're looking for? Okay, I get that. So now here's where we're going to eat that frog. And what I mean by that is, we have up until this point done all of the things and all of the attraction types of setup to optimize your Instagram, but it's not enough to just build it and they will come. Instagram is a cocktail party. So let's go and find our clients. Let's go do the work to connect with our people. So I keep saying that it's like a cocktail party, right? So what I mean by that is, imagine you are going to a cocktail party. You could go in, you could stand by the window, and you can wait for somebody to come and talk to you, which is totally fine, which there is part of that. But also, we want to go and hang out, start a conversation, ask people how they're doing. And this is exactly what you're doing on Instagram. So let's go find out. So here is where we get to search the big hashtags. Okay. So maybe I'm going to go to personal trainer. Okay. And you're thinking, yeah, but Beverly, these are all my contact, all my colleagues. Yes, I know. But listen, go to them and look at the comments, because maybe the comments are where your people are hanging out. And then you're going to go to find the person. Oh, now notice how this person is potentially has got a private account. Now, if you work with a lot of general population, a lot of them have accounts that are private, which is cool. So what do? Well, I'm going to like it. And I'm going to respond to this person. Right. I'm trying to think of what I'm on the spot. So what would I say? Do you work with athletes? Maybe I'll say something like, great question, Matt. Thanks for asking. Okay. And now why? Because my account's not private. And so here, Matt will be like, who's this person that commented? And go to my profile. And if it makes sense, he'll stay and hang out. Okay. The other thing, okay, so here we go. So let's look and see, are my ideal clients hanging out here in the comments? Okay. Another thing that you can do. So maybe we think about where our people are hanging out outside of fitness. Okay. So for me, when I was looking up moms, right, I would go to Mom Life. So maybe I wasn't looking at fitness specific, but I want to find where my moms are. Okay. And I'm going to go, this is your top posts, okay, which can be very powerful, but sometimes I'll go to the recent tabs because I'm looking for my clients, not necessarily the influencers, but I'm looking for my clients. So I'm going to look, and if this looks like my ideal client, I'm going to select on her, I'm going to look at her profile. Okay. Um, and let's say for argument's sake, she is. So I will select this, I will get her attention and I will like 3 of her comments. And I will actually comment a real 4 words, a real comment. And I'm going to say happy 58th birthday. I miss celebrating in person. Okay. A real comment. And now if I wanted to be aggressive, and I will watch her story, and if I see anything in her story that I like, I will comment and I will open up a conversation if she lets me, right? If there is a place to communicate. If there's not, I'll go into the message and I'll say something like, I love baseball, and I know this because I watched her story and I was real, and it's true. I do love baseball. And I'll say something real, and then I will open up a real conversation and I will ask, like, I'm just being a person. I will say, how are you? And I will comment. The other place is that I'll go look at where I'll look at some of my colleagues that might have the business or might have the clientele that I want. And I will go and I will search the comments and I will connect with some of the people that I see in here. Okay, especially if they have larger followings like this. The larger the followings, chances are your people are hanging out there, and then you can comment on it. Now, when I'm trying to grow my account, when I'm trying to if I were to find my ideal client and I wanted to grow my one-on-one, I'm going to have DM messaging. I'm going to go into the DMs and I'm going to open up a conversation and then move them to get them on the phone if it makes sense. But remember, I am not in there to be like, hey, we're at a cocktail party. I'm going to say hello, I'm going to buy you a drink, and I'm going to create a connection. And my content is going to be set up to pull people in. I just need to go out and find them, say hello, connect them. It's not like I'm going to the bar and saying, hey, want to get married? Hey, want to get married? Hey, want to get married? No, I'm going to the bar and saying, hi, I'm Beverly. Let's have a cocktail. Can I buy you a drink? Can I buy you a drink? Want to go on a date? And then maybe another date. And then if it makes sense and we've built this relationship and this connection, then perhaps I will present you with my offer and ask you to marry me. So remember, it's not just about finding your ideal client and trying to sell them. No, we are connecting with them, and we're going to be doing it in both ways. We're setting up our content for attraction and also setting up our content and also going out, doing some connecting. And I recommend 50 to 100 comments a day that are real, that are yours. And I'll spend 30 to 60 minutes a day on it. Now, Last bonus tips that we want to be doing is making sure that we are responding back to every comment, because that is going to benefit the algorithm. So here is a strategy that I will put in place. I will do my direct outreach for about 20 minutes, hanging out. I will post my content, and then I will stay for another 20 minutes and respond back to every comment, because the faster that you can tell Instagram, hey, this is relevant to my audience, Instagram knows that by the engagement, then the Instagram will say this is relevant and push it out, and the algorithm's in your favor. So it's important to stay connected, to comment back on every comment, and to hang around, stay on the platform, because that's what Instagram wants, and also to create the compelling content.
Okay, friends, let's just do a quick recap on how we can use our Instagram to find and get our ideal clients. So, number one, make sure your account and bio is set up to attract and connect with your ideal clients, including your highlights. Number two, create compelling content that lives on IG in the 5 places: the feed, the story, the live, reels, and IGTV. Number 3, use hashtags for discoverability. Number 4, use hashtags for networking and for direct outreach. And the bonus, make sure that you are on the platform right before you're about to post. Make sure that you are also commenting back on every single person that comments on your post. Comment back. That is going to show Instagram algorithm that you are here hanging out and connecting with your potential ideal clients. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on this video. If you like this video, chances are your friends will too. So go ahead, hit like. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and tap that bell so that you can be notified when the latest and greatest video comes out. And I'll catch you on the next video.